Right, got the ring light over so we can have a good little look in. So I put a whole bunch of cocoa coir in there with some cardboard, and you know, they all seem to be eating stuff, but I feel like they'd do much better if we gave them a huge dose of that lettuce. So let's do that. I'm just hoping that this is going to turn a bit mushy, and it'll sort of attract the worms to come up and eat. So that'll be cool. It's been a bit of a shame, this worm farm. It hasn't gone the way I wanted it to go. I really wanted to follow it along, but now I've sort of lost my place with it all. Anyway, that's done. All right, we're back. We're feeding our brand new Tumbleweed worm farm. Let's jump in and have a look. In there, it's all going really, really well. And down there, now we've got some castings happening. So that looks really good. And I'm just gonna dig around a little bit. Seeing a few worms here and there. Got to be honest, not as many as I would like to be seeing. Sometimes when you use those yellow worm farm things, sometimes you can get a dud one. Sometimes you can get a worm farm or a section of worms that's not really giving much. You know what I mean? There's not many worms in there. You can get a box and there's not many worms in there. But anyway, let's feed this one. Just gonna go halves with whatever's in here. Some more lettuce, half of that avocado. Oh God, it's sloppy and grim. So we're gonna save that for all of that is gonna get saved for our $6 worm farm. So again, we don't need to do anything except just cover it up. That's a good enough cover. We don't actually need any paper covering just now. At the moment, we don't need any paper covering. We can just cover it up like that, be perfectly fine. The worms will still be able to eat it, and there's still enough like darkness that they can, you know, it'll be like simulating the forest floor. So they'll be fine. Lid on, great. I'm curious to see how much. Ah, okay. So that was dripping out. So we got some worm tea down there as well. So that's going great. Cool. Now, it is moving a little bit slow. I'm gonna say that. It's definitely moving a little bit slow. That camera's a bit crooked. So I'm gonna give it maybe another couple of weeks, see what the worm population is like. If it's still a bit low, I might just borrow some worms from one of these other worm farms over here, put them in there. Because yeah, it is moving a little bit slower than I'm normally used to, but that's okay. This is what it could look like. Because I mean, if you're gonna do this and it looks better than what I've got, that'd be great for you guys. But if it's not going so well, then you know, you can just do what I'm gonna do, which, you know, find someone with worms or something like that. You can either buy the eggs as well. We can talk about it in the next one. Anyway, that's me. You guys are legends. Let's get our brand new Tumbleweed worm farm out so we can have a look in there. Okay, first layer's empty, fine. Second layer, looking good. Still see some cocoa coir. There's a little bit of lettuce there, that's all right. I believe that would be some sort of a pumpkin-y seed. Let's mix it up, see what we got. Oh yeah, cool. Some castings, there's still some cocoa coir in there. Oh, there's a big chunk of worms in there. That's happy, that's what we like. Great, this is going well. Spread all that out. Now, even though this isn't completely full, we've still got a bit of space here with these guardrails on the side here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 2, 3, and 3. So there's 10 of them all across the base of this worm farm, even though they're not completely full. Similar to down here, they're not completely full. Oh, that's really good worm castings. It might be a little bit dry. It's moist, but it could be a bit better. That's all right. So this would be quite full, this bin. Now that I'm mixing it up and putting a bit of air in there, that'd be quite full. So definitely need a second layer. I'm not going to fill up this layer anymore. I'm going to put everything in this layer. What that means is that when we feed this, these tiny little holes in these layers, the worms are going to come up, eat the food, and then they're going to put all the worm castings there, and they're going to leave the worm castings in this tray, and they're also going to drop through down to the next layer. Also, we're going to be promoting all of the worms to be coming up to this layer, leaving behind worm castings in the lower layers. So, you know, we've got some cardboard, we've got some avocado skins, There's some eggplant and some, you know, big carrot there. Hopefully they're gonna love that. So that should be enough for them to get comfortable in this next layer. There's also cardboard in there. I may have mentioned that. And just for the fun of it, I'm gonna add in just a little bit of crushed eggshells. Only because coffee grinds have a propensity to get a little bit moldy if you're not careful. So this is gonna balance out that pH, stop the coffee grinds from getting too moldy. I think we're done. I think we're good. I'm just gonna put some layers on top of that. Layer like that. Hey, look, we're done. This worm farm is fast becoming established. And here's the other thing. I might actually be giving this away to someone, a friend of mine maybe, because I like, at the rate in which I'm eating, I'm not gonna be able to feed all of these worm farms. I can feed them all because I'm getting food scraps from the greengrocers. But if I wasn't getting food scraps from the greengrocers, these worms would be going hungry. So yeah. Anyway, that's us. Tumbleweed worm farm, going well. Still learning the lighting space. That's okay. Let's put this back. Cool. Legends, that's me. We're done. Thanks so much. Maybe if we move this down just a little bit. We are gonna check out our brand new Tumbleweed worm farm. Cool. So we started feeding the top layer. Let's just have a quick look. Okay, I can see some worms. There's some tiny little baby worms. Bit of mold. That's okay. There's crushed eggshells here, so that's kind of kept it at bay. So there's some worm castings in there. I can see some worms wriggling around up here. So we've got a whole bunch of cardboard. That's good. That's probably coffee grinds. That's also good. Let's have a look at the layer below. Oh, great. This is going really well. I can still see some traces of cocoa coir. I'm gonna get rid of these tiny little sprouts. I believe these are like maybe pumpkin seeds. And there's an avocado pit that looks like it's gonna be kicking out some growth, which if it does, cool. Usually the worms get to them. But let's have a dig around. Oh, it's not very deep. I thought it would be much deeper. That's all right, it's still good. I am struggling to see as many worms in here as I thought I might. There are still a bunch of worms. They don't like to be disturbed. But it's still good. It's perfectly fine. Let's have a look at the next layer. All right, this is the bottom one. Oh yeah, we've got some worm castings here. This is good. Honestly, this worm farm is moving very slow. I'm used to having much more worms than this, but it's okay. We just need to build up the colony. So there are still worms in here. This layer is quite full. So I'm just gonna take some handfuls and scoop it out. And I'm gonna put in one of the other layers, just because I don't want this layer to get too full. Let's do this one. I'm only doing this because I wanna make sure that there's enough room for new castings to fall in this lower level. We wanna there are these little guardrails on the side here. We just wanna make sure all the castings are just below that level, because the tray above, the one I'm filling up now, is going to rest on these tiny little lips up here, just to make sure that nothing gets squashed. Don't know what that is. Let's get rid of that. Okay, cool. This worm farm is definitely moving on the slow side. But I got a whole bunch of that old salad stuff. Hopefully that's gonna do something. I'm also just gonna put more kitchen scraps in. Lots of coffee grinds. See, that's what I mean. Coffee grinds tend to get a bit moldy. So if you're gonna put them in, that's okay. Just be mindful that they will get moldy. So if they do that, get some crushed eggshells, give it a sprinkle, that should be fine. Perfect. That's our new worm farm. It's definitely on its way. Now I did say that if things were moving a bit slow, we were gonna borrow some worms from some of the other worm farms. I'm not exactly there just yet. I'm just gonna persist with this for a little bit longer. And if we don't see some radical improvements in the worms, I think I'm just gonna need to start getting really diligent with feeding them fruits and vegetables. Once I start feeding them fruits and vegetables, it might be a lot easier. But, new worm farm, great. Thanks, legends.